He didn't mean to start a revolution, just a line of code, a blinking cursor, a quiet tap of the keyboard in a dusty office at CERN. 30 years later, that keystroke would set off a chain reaction more powerful than any bomb. Governments fell, billion-dollar companies rose overnight, truth got louder and more dangerous. One teenager in Egypt could spark a protest that toppled a regime. Another in California could rewrite global economics from his bedroom. And here's the twist. The internet was never meant for you. It began as a weapon, born of Cold War paranoia, hidden behind locked doors, built to survive nuclear annihilation. So how did this military network turn into the greatest tool of freedom and control the world has ever seen? And more importantly, what comes next? Stay with me, because the story's just beginning. It starts with fear. Not the fear of viruses or trolls or cancel culture. Not yet. This is nuclear fear. The kind that wakes generals in the middle of the night. It's the 1960s and America's worst-case scenario is terrifying. One Soviet missile, and the country goes dark. Communications, command centers, nuclear retaliation, all wiped out in a single strike. The Pentagon needs a backup plan. Their answer? A network that couldn't be killed. Something that didn't rely on any one central hub. Something that could survive even if half of it was reduced to ash. The Defense Department funds a project called ARPANET. It's obscure, technical, and totally unsexy, but it plants the seed for something enormous. In a cramped room at UCLA, a student named Charlie Klein sends the first message over this network. Login. The system crashes after LO. 2 letters. That's all. But in hindsight, that moment is louder than any explosion. A quiet beginning to the loudest revolution in human history. Through the 70s, the ARPANET grows. Slowly, carefully, academics and military contractors use it to send files, messages, and code. It's clunky and exclusive, but it works. Still, there's a problem. Every network speaks a different language. Enter Vinton Cerf and Robert Kahn, 2 unsung heroes of the digital age. They developed TCP/IP, a universal protocol that allows different networks to communicate. It's the glue that binds the early internet together. On January 1st, 1983, ARPANET adopts TCP/IP. It's the day the internet is officially born, but it's still invisible to most people. If you're not a scientist or soldier, you probably don't even know it exists. That changes thanks to a soft-spoken British scientist working at CERN, Tim Berners-Lee. He sees the growing tangle of databases and realizes something's missing. A way to organize, connect, and navigate this digital mess. His solution? A system of linked documents using something called HTML, a browser, a web of information that anyone can surf. In 1991, the World Wide Web goes public. Suddenly, the internet isn't just for academics and defense analysts, it's for everyone. And the floodgates open. The 1990s feel like magic. Everything is new. Everything is possible. Startups explode. Investors throw money at anything ending in .com. Kids in garages become millionaires. The rules don't apply. AOL CDs fill mailboxes. The sound of dial-up screeches through living rooms like a digital mating call. Families crowd around chunky beige monitors to surf the web. It's not fast, it's not elegant, but it's addicting. You can email a friend, post on a forum, buy a rare book from halfway around the world. You can even build your own website. No degree required, just some code and a message. This wasn't just technology, it was power, and it was up for grabs. But behind the novelty, something deeper was shifting. Who holds the microphone? Before, only institutions, governments, newspapers, TV studios could reach a mass audience. Now, a teenager with a blog could embarrass a senator. A YouTube clip could end a career. A forum post could spark a movement. The gatekeepers were losing control, and the public was just getting started. In 2001, a radical experiment launches. Wikipedia. No experts, no editors, just everyone contributing, fixing, and fact-checking each other. It should have failed. Instead, it becomes the world's largest encyclopedia, written by us. This signals the beginning of Web 2.0, a web not just of pages, but of people. Suddenly, we're not just browsing, we're uploading, we're sharing, commenting, debating. In 2004, a college sophomore named Mark Zuckerberg builds a social site for his classmates. He calls it the Facebook. In less than a decade, it swallows the globe. Then comes YouTube, a platform where anyone can be a filmmaker, a journalist, a comedian, or all three. Then Twitter, a boiling pot of takes, truths, and trouble. And Instagram, where images replace words and influence becomes currency. With each platform, our digital lives become more public and more addictive. But something else is happening too. Something subtle, dangerous. The internet is learning about us. Every click, every like, every scroll, it's all being recorded, monetized, sold. We thought we were using the internet, but it was studying us the whole time. The first time the world really sees the internet's power is in 2010. A fruit vendor in Tunisia sets himself on fire to protest police corruption. His death sparks mass unrest. But this time, people aren't organizing in secret basements or town squares. They're organizing online. The Arab Spring begins, not in the streets, but on Facebook. In Egypt, Tunisia, Libya, and Syria, protesters use Twitter, WhatsApp, and live streams to coordinate, amplify, and resist. Regimes fall, the world watches. Social media becomes a force not just for expression, but for revolution. But this tool of liberation soon becomes a weapon for manipulation. The same platforms that gave protesters power start being used to spread lies, to inflame hate, to twist elections, troll farms in Russia, disinformation in America, extremist recruitment across the world. Suddenly, the free internet doesn't feel so free. And beneath it all, one brutal truth. The system was never neutral. It rewards rage, outrage, division. Because those things get clicks, and clicks mean profit. As culture shifts, so does the economy. In the old days, business was about buildings and workers and products. Now, it's code. Amazon starts as an online bookstore. Now, it powers global logistics, data hosting, and surveillance tech. Google becomes the world's biggest librarian, then its biggest advertising agency. Apple puts a supercomputer in your pocket, then builds a walled garden around it. Every tap, swipe, and pause generates data. And in the new economy, data is gold. Whole industries emerge: SEO, social marketing, influencer branding. Others vanish: video stores, newspapers, record shops. Meanwhile, automation creeps into everything: hiring, diagnosis, driving, translation, creativity. AI tools finish your emails, write your resumes, draw your art. Work goes remote. Offices shrink. Side hustles multiply. A teenager in Mumbai edits TikToks for a brand in Los Angeles. A mom in Ukraine teaches language lessons via Zoom. Global capitalism now runs on broadband, but here's the catch. Most of us don't own the platforms, or the algorithms, or the data. We're users, products, cogs in someone else's machine, and the rules can change anytime. So where are we now? We're 5 billion users deep. Hundreds of zettabytes of data flying through fiber optics, bouncing off satellites, filling digital clouds. And still, it's just the beginning. Tech giants push toward the metaverse, virtual spaces with their own currencies, jobs, and social hierarchies. It's the internet inside the internet. Blockchain promises decentralization, but also brings scams, speculation, and a new class of digital elite. Quantum computing lurks on the horizon, threatening to crack the encryption that keeps our data safe. AI gets eerily good at everything. We don't just browse now, we live online. We date, grieve, graduate, argue, and mourn through screens. And yet the biggest questions are still unanswered. Who owns our attention? Who decides what's true? What happens when your identity exists in a server, not a soul? And here's the one that should keep us up at night. Did we create the internet, or did it create us? We didn't plan this, not really. The internet wasn't built with a blueprint for society. It wasn't born to connect souls or cure loneliness. It was a Cold War fail-safe. A digital cockroach built to survive the end of the world. But instead of staying in bunkers and labs, it escaped. And it remade everything. The way we work, fall in love, raise our kids, fight wars, form identities, remember the past, it all runs through a screen now. That first shaky message, "Low," wasn't just a login. It was a warning. A promise. A crack in the dam. And now, we're swimming in it. But here's the paradox. A tool meant to decentralize power now concentrates it in fewer hands than ever. A space built for freedom now profits from division. The internet gave us more voices, but blurred the line between truth and noise. It gave us connection, but left many of us lonelier. It gave us knowledge, but buried it in distraction. So the real question isn't, what will the internet become? It's what will we become? Now that we've built a mirror big enough to reflect the whole world back at us? And if the internet was the first revolution, what's the next one? Because if this changed everything, imagine what's coming. Now here's your turn. What's one way the internet has completely changed your life? Drop it in the comments. Your story might be part of the next video. And if you want to know who tried to kill the internet in 1998, hit subscribe. You won't believe who was behind it.